Okay, good afternoon. My name is Dave Greenlee, and this is Great Folks and Good Stories. And we are talking with Rachel,
Rachelle.
Rachelle Shelly Ward,
Right.
who is running for school board in the city of Urbana City Schools. So, first question is, why do you want to run for school board?
See what I tell you?
Yep.
Um, because I wanted to get involved in the community, and since I have a grandson, we have a grandson in fourth grade. I felt like this is what I was led to do. I think right now, with the way the world is, I just wanted to, as what I've been thinking about is being on the school board is like being a watcher on the wall.
Okay.
That's a line of defense to limit the government's role in the school. I believe that the school should be about education and not the indoctrination that we see going on in other communities. And I feel like that's something that other board members are also on that same line. So I think it would be good to have as many people on the board as possible with the same mindset.
Okay. Are there any particular instances that have concerned you from Urbana that
Not,
you've seen?
not necessarily in Urbana. From what I've heard from one of the board members is they still do not have a lot of the things at Urbana City Schools that are going on in other school systems. They've kept that at bay, or it just hasn't come down the pike yet.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Uh, where you're from, and you're if you comfortable with about your family and.
Okay. I graduated from Graham High School 39 years ago, and I married a man from Urbana City Schools, and we have lived in Champaign County since 1990, and we have two sons. Joe is 32 and Nick is 26, and they both attended Urbana City Schools. And now Joe has a son, Noble, who is in fourth grade at Urbana City Schools.
Great. And your family is from Champaign County?
Yes.
Okay. And your husband's family also?
They were originally from Springfield area,
Okay.
but they moved into Champaign County years and years ago. But I believe his dad was from Springfield area.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge you see in the school system?
Um, I I've attended a couple board meetings since I became a candidate, and I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about the finances. How are the finances being used, and are they making the right choices for Urbana schools? That's something that I've heard. Um, I know that move out of town for the new schools was a big challenge for a lot of people to accept that. And now the property on Boyce Street, at the last meeting, they did talk about what they're going to do with that. So it's not going to just go to waste. And I think that was a lot of concern for citizens here.
Yep.
Just to know that they're being responsible with the money that they're getting.
Yeah. So just to provide our viewers with some context, you're talking about the property where originally the school over at the end of Boyce Street.
Yes.
And behind the YMCA.
Yes.
Yep. And apparently the reason was that there was the waste field right next door.
Right.
That precluded putting up the school there for one reason or another. I don't know all the details.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of things from the community, and you just don't know how much of it is true and how much of it is just complaining.
Right.
So I don't know the details. I've tried to always stay out of that kind of thing. because I don't know the facts.
Yeah.
And I think that's what another thing that led me um, to run for the board is because I hear so many people complain, and I've been a complainer. When my kids were in school, I complained about the school system, and I just felt like, you know what, instead of sitting around complaining about it, get involved and see what you can do to help. I mean, the board is limited on what they can do aside or apart from the superintendent. That's
Yeah.
his role in the school system to take care of all the administrative things. But the board does have a say so.
So, how
And
would you rate the school system currently on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not great and 10 being superb?
I really don't know nowadays. I mean, when the
Okay.
kids, when our boys were in school, I didn't have a very good opinion about Urbana.
So that's been 12 and 8 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while.
Yep.
Um, I don't hear too many complaints about the school system from my son with Noble, with our grandson in school. But since I did run for the board and I've got my campaign signs out and I'm talking to people more about things, I hear a lot of complaints about bullying, um, certain people at the school, certain positions that people are in that they don't think that they should be in. Those are the kinds of things that I've been hearing since I've become a candidate. Um, and I've told people, you know, you go to the board meetings, attend the board meetings and see exactly what's going on with the superintendent, with the board members in the school. And, you know, there's a chain of command that they have to follow. If the teachers aren't doing something that they want them to do with their children, as far as when they're getting bullied, follow the chain of command. If the teacher's not doing anything, go to the principal. If that doesn't take care of it, go to the superintendent. That's his role, that's his responsibility to make sure the administration is doing their job and they're looking out for all the students. They have to they have to follow the chain of command.
Gotcha. Um, have you had a chance to look at the budget and review the budget at this point?
No.
Okay, and we can have a follow up conversation on that. I'm going
I
to get a
hear
copy of. I will get a copy of it, and I promised Taylor and Tyler I'd get a copy because they hadn't had a chance to take a look at things either.
right. They do touch on a lot of the finances at the board meetings, but since I'm not really aware of where they're at on paying, and especially paying the school, you know, that kind of thing, I'm not really in to know that kind of thing right now.
Yeah.
They did hand out, the superintendent did hand out a piece of paper to me because I had a meeting with him on Tuesday
Oh, okay.
before the board meeting. And there was a lot of financial stuff on there. I have not had a chance to look over that. But there's also a 5-year plan
hmm
that is laid out in this papers also. And I just, like I said, I haven't had a chance to go through. I've been reading so many papers trying to get more knowledgeable about what's going on in the community and with the school board and things from the Ohio school board, trying to read up on some of that stuff, what they recommend you do to prepare for becoming a school board member. And I've been reading so much lately, it's
Pretty
overwhelming.
overwhelming. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that your candor. So, um, uh, what are some of the great things you see going on with the school system that you've heard about?
um, I love the new building. I've been in it a couple times. I like the that things are updated. And the superintendent was talking about all the computers, and I said, I'm just, you know, we didn't have all that stuff when I was in school. We were lucky if we had to use our calculator. And now they have these Texas Instrument calculators. I don't even know how to operate. And these kids, the technology of that these kids understand at such a young age is just over mind-boggling to me. Um, a lot, I don't know if it's always necessarily a good thing that there's so much technology. Um, I think sometimes simple is better.
Yeah.
Get back to the basics of teaching the kids the basics in education. But I think we're just past that point now. I don't know if there's ever any going back to the basics. I don't know. I haven't been to the high school. I know they're doing improvements. They're putting that HVAC system at the gymnasium and the auditorium. They're doing updates on. So I'm kind of excited to see how that all turns out.
We have one of the nicest campuses in the state.
It is really nice.
It's
I
very
like.
nice with the old trees and the old building.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to someday figuring out what can be done with that old building, so it's not a drain on our budget to try to maintain it. You know, I have no idea, but yeah,
Well, the castle.
yeah,
Are they not using that anymore?
I don't know what's being used for.
Oh,
I have no idea. So, I'm gonna go talk to uh, uh, students. I'm gonna talk to teachers if I can, if it's appropriate.
right.
I'd like to reach out to the superintendent and current school board members and past school members and citizens, and just have a conversation. So, okay. So, what's your plan to get elected?
That's my plan.
Hmm.
Word of mouth. I'm not doing a whole lot of. I paid for my signs, 50 signs. That's all I'm buying. I'm not. I'm not a campaigner. I don't know exactly what's expected, but
Hmm.
I'm going to do what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
This is kind of crazy for me to be doing,
Yeah.
but I I mean they talked to me about going to the hoopla parade and doing having signs made and getting my face out there and things. I'm like, if this if this is a popularity thing, I mean, I've been in this community for a long time. I have church members. I have a lot of family in this area, and I just think that whoever is meant to be in this position, that's who will be in the position. I'm not going to try to sell myself to a lot of people.
Okay. Fair answer. I'm just looking for what you had to say.
Yeah,
So, what's your elevator pitch to the voter?
elevator pitch. I just read about that
Yeah,
elevator pitch.
I'm an old salesperson, so
Yeah.
okay. Let me rephrase that. What's your see somebody in the grocery store in passing, and they say, "Oh, you're running for school board. Why?"
To get involved.
Get involved.
To get involved and to know and to get to know what is happening in the school and like I said, to be a watcher on the wall, to protect. And I think the legislation is a big part of the board, and I really wasn't aware of that until I started going to the meetings. That we have a say so about legislation that's coming down the pike, and with the right people on the board, we can protect our future from getting off the tracks, off the rail. And that means that less government is a good thing. I mean, a lot of these things should be state decided and people decided, not the government telling us what we have to do.
You mean the federal government?
The federal government,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to ask you one last question. What's your closing thoughts?
If I can do this, I'd like for people to just pray. Pray for our school system. Pray for the people that are in positions now. And if those seats are open, then pray that the right people will be in those positions. Pray for our students. Our students need covered. our kids, our grandkids, the teachers, the secretaries, everyone. Cover them in prayer.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.